Hey guys, a couple weeks ago my Hayward H series induced draft gas pool heater stopped working. My exact model is an H400ND. Apologize about the video. I don't have a whole lot of room here with the wall right there, but I first thing I did was I researched online, checked YouTube, checked forums, tried to find others that had a similar issue than me. Could not find much. I did find a YouTube video about a Hayward H series gas heater and about how to repair it, but it was a millivolt system. So while it was helpful, it was not exactly the same system as mine. So I thought I would make a video to help others out that might have the same type of system as me. Um, the issue I was having was that while the pump was on, my system normal light stayed lit up like normal, but whenever I turned the switch on and the thermostat up, the heater never kicked on. It didn't try to kick on. The fan, so the sequence before is after you turn the thermostat up and the switch on, first the fan would kick on, start blowing air out the top, then you'd hear the gas valve kick on, and then you'd hear the igniter light and the gas light up, and then you'd start feeling heat coming out the top. As soon as you hear that igniter light, that's when the heating light lights up. Um, so with my issue was it was not doing anything. It was saying the system was normal, but this after I turned the thermostat up and hit the switch, it was the fan didn't kick on, the light didn't light up, the gas valve didn't do anything. I mean, it was just doing nothing. So my first thought was to check all the limit switches and the pressure switch, make sure there was no issue with that. Check the thermostats. So let me go through the components, show you what I checked here. So opened up the top here. Oops. All right, after you're opening up the top, you have I have two thermostats on my model. I have one right here and one right here, one for the spa and one for the pool. Also have a LED for the heat on and an LED for the system normal, and then you have your switch that the thermostats connect to. So, this thing keeps phone. So for me, whenever I was working on this, the LED for heat on broke, so that they have a nice little plastic casing on the outside. That little plastic casing broke off. Not a big deal. It still works. It's still functional. So just thought I'd mention that though. So this component right here is your pressure switch. This is what tells the heater that there's water flowing through, because it could damage the heater to run to operate without water flowing through. So it's pretty simple. When the pump's on, this switch is closed. When the pump is off, the switch is open. So it's a normally open switch. I checked it with a meter, checked continuity with the pump on and with the pump off, and I received the expected results. Received continuity with the pump on and no continuity with the pump off. I then followed this blue wire on the top here. It runs around the side of the heater. You have to remove this panel right here, but there's a limit switch back in there. So the limit switches are normally closed. So you want to check with the system off, make sure that it's closed. If you are reading an open on a limit switch, then you most likely have a bad switch. You need to replace it. There's also a limit switch on the other side as well. If you see that kind of purple and red wire running around to the back, if you follow those, you'll find that. There's also this air pressure switch that you got the hose that runs to the inductor motor. This is the motor for the inductor that blows the air out of the top of the unit. So air runs in that hose and activates that switch. Tested that switch, just a simple continuity check, and it tested out as well. Also tested, if you see this connector here, that's all the wires from all these thermostats and switches run to this Molex connector that, if you look underneath, another Molex connector connects, and then then they run over here to the transformer and to the the board that lights the igniter. So I removed that Molex connector, and I just stick my probes from my meter in the bottom of here, and I checked for continuity just to make sure that I didn't have an issue with the wire or something like that. Also, I noticed that some of my spade connectors here were looking a little corroded and old, so I replaced them out with these new blue ones. I didn't replace all of them, but I replaced the thermostat that I use on both the thermostat side and the switch side, and I replaced the connectors down here on the 24 volts AC side of the transformer. So yeah, so let's just go through those parts one more time. So up top, you got a limit switch over on the side, pressure switch right here, your fan motor, and you got your two thermostats and your LEDs, your switch, your water pressure switch, and then another limit switch on that side. On the bottom, you have your 24-volt gas valve. The igniter is under here. This orange wire runs down under into your igniter. And then you have a transformer right here. So the left side of the transformer is your high voltage side, 220 volt. The right side is your 24 volt AC. So I checked, the voltage on both sides, got the expected output. So the transformer is good. I removed these two wires from the gas valve and put 24 volt AC directly on those two contacts. As soon as I did, I heard a click. I heard the gas and I smelled the gas. So I know the gas valve was functional. I also took 220 volt and AC and put it on these two wires here just to make sure the fan kicked on, so that make sure that there wasn't an issue with the fan motor. After I knew all those parts were good and all the switches were okay, I also removed this board here and I checked all the components on the board. I did find one resistor that was reading high. It was a 22 mega ohm that was reading at 26 mega ohm. I'm not sure if that was causing an issue, but I removed it and I replaced it on that board. After doing all those things there, replacing those spade connectors and replacing the resistor on the board inside of there, the system is now functioning just like it used to function. Kicks on as soon as I hit the switch. Works great. The one thing I would say, I think if I was to guess, I'd say that these connectors are probably more important than the resistor that was in here. I believe that, replacing those, there was probably a loose connection somewhere that was causing the issue, just because it was not doing anything. But just so you know, there could be an issue. The majority of the time, most people, they have issues with their water pressure switch. That's usually the first thing that fails. Limit switches also fail, and thermostats sometimes fail. But in all honesty, with the age of this unit, the wires, the connectors, copper, metal, and over time it corrodes, and it wouldn't hurt to just recrimp some new connectors onto those wires. For me, it definitely helped me out. So, I hope this video was helpful for you, and hope that you're able to repair your pool heater if you have trouble with one. And I hope you found this informative. Thanks for watching.